A good and warm welcome to you all who have tuned in to watch the spectacle being unfolded here right in front of us at the legendary Suzuka circuit. It's round 12 in the WC Championship of Thrustmaster Formula SimRacing, and what a day it's going to be. The drivers are looking ready and set, and we are 2 minutes into Q1, which means we already missed the outlaps and we're straight into the action. Next to me is David O'Reilly, and we'll be your commentators for today, aren't we, David?
Yes, good afternoon, Chris. Very much looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on board.
Yeah, you were allowed out of your cage for today, huh?
Yeah,
we just needed you.
Indeed.
Bad puns. I don't know yet who is the first to cross the start-finish line. Might be Journey Simonsic, followed by Peter Briljak, if I'm not mistaken. Thomas Sadly early aborted his lap, so did Mike Partington and Mohammed Patel. Journey Simonsic, though, the first guy to set a banker lap time, and well, considering the latest Grand Prix where he was really quick, even scored a pole position in Monza with 2 tenths to spare, I'm having high hopes for Journey. Definitely looks to be in a flow, and look at that line through the finish line, and already a 30.0. Already a 30.0 in WC. I mean, I was wondering in Ace if we would see a 29 in Pro. It's less likely since Ace it's a higher category. Still, it has very fast drivers. But in WC, we see the best, and seeing this, well, sort of banker lap from Journey with a 30.0 is just making a statement instantaneously. Peter Briljak puts on a 30.2 on the board, and there we have it, Jeroen Kwekel. Holy crap, 29.950 for the young Dutch guy, making his appearance here today, and is driving WC today. And I think that's really nice, because Jeroen Kwekel basically walked the championship in Ace in Pro. Didn't have any trouble into creating an early advantage, winning 6 out of the first 7 races. So he's definitely WC material. And well, just look at the scoreboard here, 29.950 banker lap for him. He might even be able to go faster.
Yeah, no. Incredible lap, and Jeroen showed us in Silverstone that he's certainly able to mix it at the front with the World Championship drivers. If you recall, Jeroen put it on pole there, but slid backwards a little bit through the race in the latter stages of the race, and we were thinking maybe it was to do with tyre management, or maybe it was to do with his setup suiting the lower fuel loads of Pro. But very, very quick driver, and certainly he'll make his mark next season in his debut full season in World Championship. But let's see what he can do today.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm sure he will. The thing is, he doesn't have anything to lose. He's just here for in a single event, so basically you can basically consider it as a test race for next year. And obviously, he's going to try with the same effort as he would next year, but. Yeah, it's definitely nice to see him on P1. If we can go on board with Peter Briljak, if we already weren't, that is, of course, he is going up for a flyer. And look at that speed he is taking through turn 1 and 2 onto the S's, a fast left and right hander. And the lines that Peter is using are really, really remarkable. Definitely up to point, cutting onto that apex, leaving enough space here, and even with room to spare on the exit. Makes it safely through, and the 30.997 in sector 1. Definitely looking, well, still a little bit composed but aggressive. But I don't think he's showing the back of his tongue just yet. Maybe a little bit too opportunistic in the famous old hairpin. But yeah, I think he will be able to do it 29.
And the viewers may not aware that Peter Briljak actually has the potential to sew up the World Drivers' Championship today. The only man that can stop him is Mohammed Patel. Essentially, if Peter can manage to win, Patel needs to do better than P4, so 3rd or 2nd, and that will deny Peter Briljak the championship. But if Peter manages to win today, and Mohammed Patel is 4th or worse, that would win Briljak the World Drivers' Championship after a sensational season.
Yeah, it's something to look after for, but I think it's pretty much sorted as well. As long as he doesn't do a Lewis Hamilton 2007, I'm sure he will be alright and take the crown home. And it would be well deserved. Looking onto this event though, it makes watching it even more fun. I mean, I don't think Peter Briljak will fight less, will fight more conservatively, knowing that the championship might be on stake, since there are still 2 rounds to go after this. And you know, after this round, like you mentioned earlier, David, there's only 50 points to divide, and the lead is like 61 points. So, you know, basically Mohammed has to win every race and hope for DNFs from Peter. Because, you know, Peter DNFing 2 times out of the next 3 events with this one in mind is not likely to happen.
No, indeed. I think the only little bit of a shadow over his party is that Patel won in Silverstone, and I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think this track's got a pretty similar characteristic to Silverstone in terms of setup, in terms of a lot of high G, high-speed corners really working the car the whole time, and Patel actually won that one. So, you know, Peter may not have it all his own way today. And as you mentioned, Simoncic, who has shown on his day stunning pace this season. He's come second in twice. And really it's only been a bit of inconsistency that's prevented him from being further up in the standings than he is.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look out for, and but at the moment they are still fighting for that top 10 finish in this session. Jon-Erik Saxon is closing that door with a 30.637, and I have to say, if you look at different events, especially in Singapore, we had the top 6 in like 1.5 tenths. Now it's a different story. I mean, the entire top 10 is divided by 7 tenths from Jeroen Kwekel towards Saxon. And well, it's relatively close from P6 to P11. So there will be a nice battle for that Q2 position. But I don't think the entire pack can contest for it.
No, indeed. And Singapore, now you mentioned
Dion P10
was a pretty... Yep, Dion Kostadinov up into P10 now after a good lap.
Definitely, and Jon-Erik Saxon still just started the flyer, a little bit of an oversteering twitchy moment, and it instantly compromises his lines through the S's. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be a PB. Hopefully it is for Jon-Erik, but small chance there. Journey Simoncic is done, and actually his first lap is his fastest. Only Kwekel into the 29 mark. Really surprisingly to see him be P1 at this moment. But the drivers are attending their last flying lap, and anything is possible. Got some high hopes from Mohammed Patel as well. Maybe Twister are just, you know, a little bit conserved, realize where they stand, and that the rest of the pack isn't gonna gain 4 or 5 tenths in this last lap. I don't know about that. Peter Briljak just did a personal best, and he is up there, 75 thousandths of a second slower than Jeroen Kwekel, so less than a tenth to spare between them, and well, that's really nice to see. I want to have like a truly train from P1 to P6 in the race, and you know, epic battles every single lap. But you know, with this nature of the track, it's gonna be hard to overtake still. We have seen that in the other categories. Now David Greco is definitely up for a flyer. Takes the spoon curve brilliantly. Has a nice exit through there, and has to hope that he can get a little bit more. Of a little bit less of his time in order to be completely safe, but I think he already is, since Danny van der Niet and Sadlerly are the only ones to complete a lap. Danny van der Niet did not do it. Thomas Sadlerly is also, well, having a hard time, so to speak. So David Greco is doing a 30.215 there, collects a little bit of time towards Mohammed Patel. That is a nice job from Greco. And it seems that we have our Q. Yes, we have our Q2 lineup, since Sadlerly is having a big oversteer moment into that last turn, and he is not improving. So, out of all these drivers, it's Kwekel on P1. That's a really nice job, being the only guy into the 29 seconds of a 129s. Followed by Journey Simoncic, Sam Boudic-Bassi, Peter Briljak, Mohammed Patel, David Greco, Blair Disley, Mike Partington, Martin Hodas, and Dion Kostadinov. Those names will be seen again in Q2, and well, the new format in Q2 still a little bit, still getting a little bit used to that. I mean, we have, I believe, 10 minutes in order to see who is the best and the fastest around Suzuka. Basically, everything is prohibited except crashing each other off. As long as you go fast, is all okay. Obviously, you have to make sure you don't cut the track, but Suzuka is not really a place where you can cut the track without losing time. So let's see who will be the master in Japan, and let's see if someone can you know, turn up with a little bit of a surprise. You know, Mike Partington is obviously a little bit furious after losing his podium last week around. He got fined. He got reported by a certain Peter Bell when he, well, on his turn just said, you know, Mike, cut it all day long. And it was his right to report that, but it does mean that the glamour from the podium of Mike Partington has disappeared a little bit. Christian Smirnov, the owner of FTS, obviously in tears, but what a race it was from Mike Partington, finishing second and, you know, giving us something to look out for here for Suzuka. But it doesn't seem likely that Mike is going to do the same trick again, considering the Q1 times. But you know, maybe he just set up his car for a complete race setting, didn't he, David?
Yeah, indeed, very, very much its ability. And Mike has had the habit of moving forwards in the race. The last couple of races, I think he had a sensational qualifying session in Spa, and actually moved backwards 2 or 3 spots, and then found himself in a solid P5, I think, at Spa. But sensational drive at Singapore. With, I think, he was one of the few drivers to do a 3-stop, and capitalised on the first lap, first turn incident that occurred, and yep, drove it home in second place. So sensational drive it was indeed from Mike.
Yeah, and well, maybe he can have a nice race after all. I mean, starting in the midfield is definitely no shame. We have 16 cars at the moment on the grid. Looking a little bit poor for WC, but the season is ending, and I believe there are some absence. I mean, Cuba Brzezinski, like we said earlier in the other broadcast, is in Abu Dhabi at the moment, competing with Nicolas Wisniewski, I believe, or
yes,
somebody like that, in the GT Academy final. So he might, you know, he might be in a qualified session himself now, but for a real life and a real life driving seat in the LMP2 class or 3 class or whatever. They sure know how to make a boy happy with a racing dream, aren't the GT Academy?
Oh, exactly. He's been sending us a couple of photos. He sent us a photo taken from his hotel overlooking Abu Dhabi, and everybody there is really up for the challenge. And I think to any of the Formula Sim Racing fans out there, if there's any question in your mind about the level of these guys, when you realise that Cooper, who I think currently lies 3rd in the championship, is off the GT Academy and one of the best sim drivers in the world.
Yeah, I just have a really really not so funny joke, but I just see a Polish guy in Abu Dhabi, you know, phoning home like, Mama, everything is from gold. You don't believe in the mother country. No, if you're watching Cuba, that's really with a wink in my eye. But I hope he's having a great time there. We are obviously having a great time. The first times are piling in, and it seems like what I've said earlier was right. People are not yet showing the back of their tongue. Journey Simmons sits easy into the 129. Sam Bullock-Bassi easily into the 129s. Mohamed Patel just, as we say, with the hock over the sloot, with just a tiny fraction into the 29s, but it is counting, obviously. And I do think that this new qualified format for WC is really paying off. We don't, you know, go on board driver per driver and just let them do their laps, but you know, they have multiple chances to really find out who is the best, you know. And definitely at tracks like Suzuka, for the drivers at least, it's really nice to have more than one lap in your Q2 session, because you know, getting a perfect lap in Suzuka is asking for the moon. There's always one twitchy moment or one exit that was compromised by your own mistake, or the car just broke away from you. This is a track where you almost never get a perfect lap in.
And an absolutely beautiful circuit drive, 5.8 kilometers. It was actually designed by one of your countrymen, Chris, by a Dutch gentleman, Jong
Hugenholtz, yeah.
1962.
Yeah, and
built for Honda as a test track, and it did its Formula One debut in '87. Prior to that, Fuji was the track. Anybody who saw the fantastic James Hunt movie, the final race of '75, that was actually Fuji circuit, not Suzuka.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and the nature of this track is just so nice, and it's the only figure of 8 layout we have on the calendar, and being there are like 9 corners to the right and 7 to the left or something, instead of just like 3 or 4 to the left. So like in Australia, you have basically 3 corners on the entire track that go to the left.
Yeah, it's
insane, and you don't really notice it as a driver, of course, but it makes driving Suzuka really, really fun. There's just every sector is a different experience, and considering like I'm watching Mohammed Patel now gliding on rails and just a little bit sliding minimally, but he gets away with it brilliantly, makes use of every inch of the road. And like I said in earlier broadcasts of WC, every time Mohammed Patel is in Q2, his cars are just looking glued to the road, and he's just on rails. Hopefully for him it's not only looking fast, but it is fast as well. That's a completely different thing. It might be the worst lap in terms of oversteer or whatever, but if it's still fast, it counts.
Peter Briak's just purple in Sector 2.
There he goes.
After a pretty good Sector 1.
He just put his car into P3.
There you go.
So maybe you were on the replay, it doesn't matter. And Jeroen Kwekel now, not fighting for pole position with 1/10 to spare. And he still has time left though. And I'm sure he can do it. And lots of these guys actually, 5 people contesting for pole position effectively. And Mohammed Patel, what will he do in his second attempt? Will he improve his lap time? That's the big question for him. Mohammed Patel will not do it at the moment, but 2 minutes 48 to spare. He can warm himself up for his last try of this afternoon, in Q2 at least, because there are, 52 or 53 laps in front of us in the race. Hopefully he will have the same attitude like he has in qualify, every lap flat out. But if you do that, then your tires are getting burned after 4 or 5 laps. Definitely through the S's. I mean, these guys are giving it everything they have in the S's. I mean, watching Jordi Simoncic here, it's fabulous to see. I mean, he's having so much confidence. He's using even more road than Mohammed Patel just used, and he is just right on the edge here. And this as well, if he goes 5 centimeters more to the right, his tire would go onto the grass, and he would mess up like Daniel Kvyat did right in this sector here. Peter Briak is driving in front of him, but he is on an outlap, I believe, and he will definitely make way. He will definitely not give Jordi Simoncic a nice tow up the hill, but he goes out of the way without any possibility of impeding him. So nice job there. So what you would expect from WC drivers as well. And Jordi Simoncic nailing spoon curve. If you on the exit he's a little bit down, has to lift a little bit, but the entry was just spot on perfect. And he is doing everything in his possible. He's doing everything possible in order to secure this pole position. And let's see how he fares through this last
He's up about a 10th after 2 sectors.
Yeah, he's doing great, but there's still a little bit to go. Here he comes onto the start-finish line. Nice racing line there. Opens the DRS for a little bit and improves to 29.713. What are we seeing here, ladies and gentlemen?
Yep, his commitment through the S-curves and through Dunlop was just incredible. He just had that throttle pinned before he'd really even turned into Dunlop. Yeah. It was incredible.
And Peter Briak now did make him a little bit of a mistake in turn 1, and that already costed him a 10th. and I don't think he will do it, but he is there to prove me wrong. But he is just not having the commitment that Journey is having a little bit more troubling lines, and I don't think he will have pole position, but he might have lower downforce or something to compensate in section 3. I don't know. Jeroen Kwekel, the teammate of Journey Simicic, starting his final lap now. He is also looking rather confident in the first bend. With that beautiful double apex, where you don't go onto the apex in turn 1, but it's, it smooths out. It's epic. Kwekel with a much better line than Briljak just had, but not really true here. Has to
no,
switch.
he got a little bit of understeer through turn 6, which is the critical entry into the first of the Dunlop, and you just can't pull the car across to the right there. You just can't get a clean entry into Dunlop, and because it's such a fast section, your entry into Dunlop has a big impact on that sector time.
Yeah, Michi Hoyer in the meantime pressing a wrong button, slowing to pit, he's saying, messing up. Hopefully not giving some people concentration issues. Peter Briljak is not making any more improvements. He is done and over. And Jeroen Kwekel losing the car almost completely here, driving on the limit, that's for sure. Behind him is Sam Bullock-Bassi, who is not able to get a toe out of that, but it's all okay. Jeroen Kwekel here will not get pole position because of that mistake. I mean, that would be insane if he would still have pole position after that.
He's looking about level with his previous best lap. Do you think for Jeroen it's a bit tougher with this many quick guys? I mean, he's used to...
Oh, he did do
Whoa,
it! P2 for Jeroen Kwekel, holy moly! Sam Bullock-Bassi did not improve his time, and he is hitting Jeroen Kwekel out of anger, his teammate, for next year. Oh my god, credit for Sam there. And Mohammed Patel didn't improve as well, or at least he is in P5 where he was. So it's a 1-2 for Go Speed, and looking at this, Go Speed will definitely miss Jeroen Kwekel next year. He will be the teammate of most likely Sam Bullock-Bassi, and it's just an amazing thing to see these guys. I mean, Jeroen beating Sam with 1/1000th of a second. It's just, you can't get anything closer there. And I hope Sam caught it on camera, where Sam just showed his frustration on track, physically. So we have our pole sitter, and his name is Journey Simicic. Alongside him, Jeroen Kwekel, who will definitely close the door for Sam Bullock-Bassi, who on his turn is in P3. Peter Briljak, no pole position for him this time. He is in P4 with his teammate Mohammed Patel starting in P5. David Greco is in P6, Martin Hodos follows with P7, Dion Constantinov P8, and the old veteran Blair Disley P9. Mike Partington ends with P10, but I believe... there he is. I thought, who are we missing? And it was Daniel Kiss, obviously, who didn't make a move into Q1. He is like, I ducking love my internet provider. That's a nice way to put it, Daniel. It unfortunately happens sometimes. He will be forced to start P16 as Carlos Martin has a back of the grid, so he will start P17.
Not a bad qualifying result for Blair Disley. P9, quali 2.
Well, he can do better. He showed us he still didn't. He still doesn't have any ambition to stop racing. I mean, he fought for podiums this season.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it was a good drive from him in Melbourne, if I recall.
I don't remember that one, but he is definitely showing a better pace than a few years ago or last year or something. Don't remember that. But yeah, he seems to be getting the taste of it once more. I'm really curious to see what Journey Simicic can do together with Jeroen Kwekel. I am sure they're gonna work as a team, and yeah, if Journey can pull away for like 5 or 10 seconds and Jeroen Kwekel can give him that gap, then it's all okay. But if Jeroen Kwekel has a better start, then maybe that role will change for Journey, and he will be the guy to deliver the victory for Jeroen. I don't know if they have team play at all.
And Patel eventually might get a run on Briac into turn 1, lap 1. Depending is, I think P4 is on the left side of the track. P5 on the right side of the track, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, it's something indeed. For now though, we have 8 minutes to go into the warm-up, and it's well above time to go to a little bit of a commercial from our dear sponsor Thrustmaster. We'll be back in 2 minutes. See you then. And welcome back again. Hope you enjoyed that Thrustmaster commercial. And now it's time to enjoy another commercial, a really big commercial, and that's the commercial of Formula Sim Racing here. I mean, World Championship today on Suzuka. What do you want more? I mean, the only thing we want more is a big fight amongst these guys. Doesn't really matter for me if Jeroen Kwekel or his teammate Simoncic are, you know, instantly going away with the lead, but you know, I want to see some action on the track. This is one of the favorite tracks of most drivers here this week, and you know, it's just bound for action here.
I think definitely it's the beautiful thing about Suzuka. It is just so curvy and so turny. I mean, Sector 1 is just priceless, and the way those S-curves just open up and get more and more divergent as you go through them. If you're out by 6 inches in the first of them, you're out by a foot in the second one, and you're out by 3 feet in the third one, sort of thing. So it's an absolute driver's circuit, and it tends to create some very, very close racing. Not easy to pass. There's a nice big fat DRS zone down the pit straight, but you've got to get a fantastic exit off the Casio triangle, the final chicane, scene of the 1988 battle between Senna and Prost. But you've got to get a lovely exit to mount a DRS attack, and you've got to really hold your nerve into turn 1. If the driver you're attacking doesn't cooperate, it can very easily be both if you're off into the kitty litter, really.
Yeah, definitely. It's time for my break, actually. So if you just entertain the drive of the viewers for 2 minutes, I'll be right back.
I'll do my best.
Yes, you will do your best, or you're fired. No,
so for any, we'll do, Chris. So for any viewers not familiar with Formula Sim Racing, and I know that our live viewers tend to be very, very strong fans and very knowledgeable, but anybody else of the up to 2,000 or 3,000 people that might watch this broadcast in future weeks, Formula Sim Racing is the pinnacle of open-wheeler sim racing available in the rFactor 2 format. The car is modelled on a 2012 Formula 1 car, so about 756 horsepower. You're looking at real drivers, and all you've got to do if you want to race Formula Sim Racing is get yourself rFactor 2, get yourself a steering wheel and wheels, preferably Thrustmaster, and you're away. You could be driving in the Pro Championship next week. we're looking at the vehicle level here. This is World Championship, 100% distance, no assist whatsoever, and we use real-world, real-time weather. So at the moment it's about 17 degrees in Suzuka in Japan. So that's the temperature here in the server, and that'll have a real impact on tyre temps. It'll have an impact on what the drivers do in terms of brake cooling, engine cooling. Level 2 is ACE, that's 80% distance, and you can run auto clutch. Also uses real-time, real-world weather. In World Championship, the race engineers are allowed into the server in spectate mode. So most of these guys have actually got 1 or 2 people backing them up with data on what their competitors are doing and advice about where the pit window is. And Pro is our entry-level championship. 60% race distance, and traction control and ABS are allowed on low. We run the default weather in Pro. But as you can see from Jerome Quakel, who is the Pro champion for 2015, the standard and the pace at the pointy end of Pro is the same as the podium pace really in World Championship. So if you're a sim racer out there and you want to measure yourself against the very fastest drivers in the world, get on board with Formula Sim Racing, get yourself a drive in Pro. I would advise you try to get a drive with an existing team, because the support and the backup in terms of setups, etc., will make your life a whole lot easier than trying to reinvent the wheel yourself. But awesome competition, and quite ironic that here in Suzuka, in real life, Suzuka has been the decisive track for 11 world titles. 11 drivers' championships have been clinched at Suzuka, and wow. Peter Briliak will be attempting to clinch his own drivers' championship today as well. So we're looking forward to some fantastic racing. It's a circuit that's very tough on tyres because you're just constantly working them. It's high G all the way through the S-curves, the Dunlop, the Degners. You're working the tyres like crazy. But because it's a figure of 8, for once in the whole season, we get fairly even tyre wear on the fronts. Instead of the one tyre going off, they tend to go off fairly evenly.
Yeah, well said. Well said, and what? Yeah, definitely. I was listening for a minute. No, but the thing is, what you just said there, indeed. I mean, the last guy to clinch the championship here in real racing was, I believe, Vettel in 2011. It was, I believe so. But yeah, I mean, now of course we still have like 4 or 5 races. Back in the day, it was one of the last races of the season, the second last race of the season. But yeah, it's about time for racing. In fact, I mean, Peter Briliak is going to be the fastest in the warm-up session, but that might be that other guys are just not showing the back of their tongues. I mean, I would be surprised by some lap times actually. The gaps are really clear in the warm-up, but that's it. We have to take it with a little grain of salt. Martin Hoda show looking very strong indeed on race pace, 35.3. Already made a really nice appearance in Ace yesterday and is looking flying for today as well. But like Sam Boulik-Bassi, I don't think that 35.9 is the back of the tongue for Sam. It would mean that he has a race pace difference of 0.8 a lap to Peter Briliak, and that I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, I think Sam's pretty good race setup. I drove with pretty much his race setup today in the pro race, and did me proud. So hopefully he'll be able to put it to good work.
Are you together with Origin then?
Well, Origin Front Row and Abertec Racing are sister teams. So we train together, and we do our car development, car setup work as a team. So yeah, of information sharing backwards and forwards, and some quick guys to chase.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks like Carlos Martin will be the only guy starting on prime, which I guess makes sense if he's got a back of grid or a pit lane start.
I think a back of the grid, yeah. But I have tested a little bit with Carlos, and it's looking promising for him. I just told him twice or 3 times that he should be that he should be a little bit more careful the opening lap. Not that he could do anything else last time around in Singapore. Just basically got caught up in the mix.
No, indeed.
Hopefully for him he's back though, because he had to go to the toilet.
Yeah, well, when you look at Trine Netrex and where they sit in the Constructors' Championship, they're sitting down there in, I think, P9. And really, I think it's a tale of potential unfulfilled, because Carlos has certainly got the speed. He's a very, very quick guy.
Yeah, he had a broken arm issue
well,
as well.
I was just about to say that, yeah, he started the season with a broken arm, which is amazing performance.
Actually driving with one arm completely, like, I don't know how you say that, but, you know, in being packed into...
A plaster cast.
Yeah, indeed, like in a cast. Time to race though. 53 laps are in front of us. It's a red car lockout here, filled with ghost speeds. 1-2 for them. I mean, it's looking really, really promising, I'm sure. Would be nice to see them working together, and I mean, who would ever have the edge after turn 1 basically has the right to lead the race from there. Different strategies will come into play, I'm sure. I'm gonna take a look on Carlos Martin as well, not only because he's my teammate, but you know, I think he can still get a top 10 position here. Will be hard though, because everyone is basically a top name in here, and you know, they are really up to pace. They did their homeworks.
And yes, I stand corrected, because it looks to me like everybody from 10th place back seems to be running on the hard tyre. So
yeah, wise decision.
Yeah, personally I don't like that tyre on high fuel here, but
nobody likes hard tyres. Yeah. Soft.
Yeah,
give us super soft. No, but
the hard was very nice on low fuel here.
Yeah, but it's a tire where you can push a little bit further, harder on, and not instantly ruining it. I mean, overdriving the medium compound here is still easy. Imagine the super soft would be well, mere impossibility to have a 8 or 9 clean laps with race fuel there. I mean, these drivers are driving with 200 liters at least. I mean, there is no fuel flow regulation here, no engines that are called power units, you know, something like that. We are just driving with V8s, burning V8s here. Hopefully not literally though, but some of these drivers are looking to put a hole into the tarmac here, considering the speed they're going, because you know, it's an awesome circuit. There are an awesome bunch of drivers here, and I can't wait for the lights to go out within a minute or so. Lining up now, Journey Simonsic, Jeroen Kwekel, trying to get that little bit of extra heat in their tires. Hopefully their brakes are warm too. And we are ready to start this race. And hopefully there won't be any carnage here today. At least not in the first few bends. Let's get this party started. Here we go. The brakes are on, the launch procedure is initiated, and here we go for the Suzuka Grand Prix. Good start for Journey Simonsic, even better than Jeroen Kwekel, who lags a little bit. Peter Briljak is in the inside of Kwekel. He has to give room to him, and they do so brilliantly. Behind that, it's Bulik Bassi, who is in P4, Mohamed Patel in P5, Hodas P6, Greco P7, Costadino P8. Everyone made it through unscathed. And it's already Carlos Martin up to P15. And what a start of the race, completely clean as well, really nice to see.
Beautiful getaway from Briac. He's the big winner there. He's moved up from P5 to P4, pretty much off the line. He just seemed to get the jump.
He's P3, Briac P3.
P3, pardon me, is now up places.
And he's already knocking at the door of Kwekel. He's looking eager. Maybe he wants to get the inexperienced WC driver, the Jeroen Kwekel, who certainly has the speed, don't get me wrong, but in WC is relatively inexperienced. Maybe he wants to catch him out under a little bit of pressure, early pressure. Peter Briljak, definitely a guy who knows what he's doing, and well, has all seen it over the years, and he is driving here for a championship. So looking at straight line speed, pretty similar conditions, but Sam Bullet-Bassi is showing to be a little bit slower than the twister car of Patel at least. Don't know if it's the same for Briljak. Or maybe he just had a really bad exit at Spoon. Anything is possible. So let's see, Ghost Speed edging out 3:15 before going into the apex. That was Simoncic, but Quakel with the draft edges out 3:22. So the gear ratio is definitely up there to reach like 3:30 or something like that. So really nice. What I wanted to see earlier on, and what I said that I want to have a train with battles going on, it's actually gonna happen, it seems. And well, now all we need are the battles, obviously.
Yeah, very nice clean start, no DNFs at turn 1.
Yeah, really nice to see that. And now these drivers can just, fight it out amongst themselves, and that's actually what we want to see. Not really not really a big hype going on to the start. I think every driver had optimized their, starting procedures with the traction control, of at least the launch control, which is some sort of a traction control. They all had optimized settings, so no major position shiftings taking place there. Yeah.
We've just heard that there is potential. There could be potential for a jump start from Peter Briljak.
Oh wow! Oh, okay, so that's the mark that I was seeing. He has a message on his steering wheel indeed, and I believe
it's drive-through.
Yeah, it says BF or whatever.
I think that might be drive-through.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for him, I think it is. And Peter Briljak instantly, making a mistake we are not used to of seeing of him. He already made a little bit of a mistake in Singapore turn 1. Have to come back on that, but that was a little bit too eagerness. He was a little bit too eager off the line here, it seems, and he has to go into the pit after, I think, this lap, because you have 3 laps to do it. So I think he is going in.
Yes, well, I was amazed at how he literally got the jump on the car in front of him. He just pulled off, drove around the car in front, and I just could not figure out how he got such a magnificent start.
But he just did a Maldonado Spa 2012.
Yes, exactly. I was thinking of myself, looking at him, thinking that I could be Charlie Whiting and he could be Pastor Maldonado. But
yeah. Or with Alonso once, pointing a finger, hit that guy, it was him. But it was, wasn't it Bahrain or something? I don't know, doesn't matter anyway. I think Peter Briljak will come in after this lap. And it would release some tension, at least for Mohammed Patel. I mean, Peter Briljak, oh, Sam Bullet-Bassi going completely sideways through the chicane, keeps it together, but he is definitely ruining his tires this way. He cannot afford himself another mistake like that. Instantly, Mohammed Patel capitalizes with DRS. Sam also has DRS, but he has to let Mohammed Patel go here. And what a move was that. I hope we can get a replay of that. I mean, he just braked a little bit too hard, complete opposite lock, and a complete, 30-meter drift there. Not really doing his tire life any favor. Nice keeping it together though, credit for that.
Well, indeed, and as long as the tyres kept turning, you might have given them some wear but not flat spotted them. When you lock them up, you get those horrendous flat spots and you just about...
Yeah, well, this is like a flat spot of 30%. I think if his tires were 100%, which they were like 95 or whatever, 90, they are now 60 or 50.
Was it the rears or the fronts?
I mean, he completely slided through, sideways.
Okay.
It's like all tires. I mean, this is insane for him, and he will have a big problem now.
Well, incredible turn of events for the championship, because as we were talking earlier, Briljak only needed really to outpoint outpoint Patel by 4 or 5 places to take this take the World Drivers' Championship today in this race. And now Briac is going to rejoin pretty much 16th or 17th place unless he can manage to magic up 4 to 6 seconds in the next lap or two. So
he's not going in though.
Something strange happening.
I mean, you do have a certain amount of laps where you have to serve your penalty.
I think it's 5 laps normally.
5, alright.
Yeah.
And I do see some clouds forming as well. If I look on... well, it's a blue sky here amongst the S's, but...
Well, there's no rain forecast. Did get onto the weather map just
like
before
0%?
Just before the race. And temperatures could drop another couple of degrees. We could get down as low as 15, but no rain forecast.
Well, we will have a rain race, of a rainy, wet race before the end of this season. I guarantee it. We already had Spa in Ace, obviously, and a 50% chance during that Spa in WC. But you know, it didn't come in the end. But it will come in Interlagos, I'm sure. I mean, it rains every day there, basically. The time is just relevant. Yeah, going back to the race, Sam Bouligbassi still driving on P5. Not showing any difficulties at this moment, but I definitely think that little bit of a cock-up made, you know, his tire stint 2 or 3 laps shorter, definitely.
Yeah, it's got to have an impact. Well, Hollywood couldn't have set it up to putting Briac into a drive-through situation, because I think it's going to keep this championship alive for at least another round, really.
Well, is he going to the pit? Yes, he is going to the pit. Here he goes for his drive-through, and that releases Mohammed Patel into P2. And it does seem that Jeroen Kwekel and Journey Simicic are gone. Jeroen Kwekel could make himself a little bit bigger in the rearview mirror of Simicic, but these guys are working together. More importantly, where's Peter Briac fading out of? It's P12. Carlos Martin pushing Thomas Satterley off the track.
What is that about?
Oh, they had contact in the chicane as well. I mean, but I have to see this. Thomas Satterley going alongside and Carlos Martin just pushing him off the track. That is dirty driving by the young Spaniard. And I have to see that once more. I mean, Thomas Satterley just entering the straight. Carlos Martin not going defensive until the start-finish line, goes completely out of the track and just pushes Thomas off the track. That's the end of the race for Carlos, and that's not really driving we want to encourage, and I don't think Thomas Satterley has spoken the last words of that. I mean, that was just plain silly and really over-aggression from Carlos, in my opinion. What do you think, David?
Well, I only saw the, I just saw the half, but it sounds to me that what you're saying is accurate, and it's really not what we're here for. Carlos needs to finish more races, really. He's got the speed, and so unfortunate that that's happened to Satterley, and you wouldn't wish it upon any of these others. Most of these guys have done 500 plus laps to practice for this event.
Yeah, and Carlos did as well, but you know, this is just a little bit over the edge. He didn't leave him any space, and he actually hit him off the track whilst he already was alongside, basically. So it's an insane situation. But they also made contact in the chicane earlier, prior to that. And actually, I'm gonna take a look on that as well. So you just entertain our drivers.
Yeah,
John Eric Saxon is having. Oh, Blair Disney is out of the race. More things to come here. What is happening with him now then? Going through turn 1, just spins. Loses the car completely, goes out of the track, and it seems like he has some sort of an issue. At least he is out of the race. That is really unfortunate.
So Briac at the moment outside the points, and Mohammed Patel sitting in a 15-point paying position. Pit window, we'll probably start to see the option runners, the drivers on the medium tyre, start to think about pitting around about lap 11-12.
Yeah, and I'm just commentating on what happened before, because it was actually Carlos Martin being behind Thomas Satterley before the chicane. Thomas defended the outside line, Carlos the inside, and it was Thomas who ran a little bit into Carlos back there. So maybe the shot was already fired, and Carlos was just overreacting on the straight. But definitely an issue that we haven't seen the last of. And I will advise you to watch the forum in like an hour's time, because it's gonna explode with blames and hates. But for now, there's still a long race to go here. We are on lap 8 out of 53. Kwekel is still following his teammate ever so closely, Jordi Simonsits, and they're just controlling this race pace basically. Behind that, Peter Briljak, obviously because of that drive-through, is now driving in P10, but still no man overboard for him. Like I said, the race is long, and the top 5 can easily be a situation for him to be realized. I mean, maybe even a podium.
Indeed, there's only 11 seconds.
Oh, Daniel Kiss! Daniel Kiss is out of this race, stuttering all along, and I believe it's his, like he said, ducking internet provider.
Severe internet connection problem.
Yeah, that's obvious. I mean, he's just shivering along the way, and really unfortunate, because Daniel is such a nice guy, and apart from that, also a really fast driver, and he will be missed in this race, at least by me, and definitely also his team. Mike Partington has Peter Briljak behind him. That's not really a nice perspective. Also, Jon-Erik Saxon right in front of him. Does cancel out the DRS effect for both of them, but Peter Briljak is going really offensive here on towards Mike Partington. He can just not keep up because of the DRS, but Jon-Erik Saxon does not have DRS. Peter Briljak can just watch along and see how Mike Partington tries to make a move in, but Jon-Erik Saxon firmly closes the door. And there was
beautiful,
no room.
Sorry to cut in. Beautiful defensive move there by Jon-Erik. He went to the right-hand side, covered the apex, and the invitation was there. Come on, Mike, have a go if you want around the outside, buddy. How badly do you want this? Yeah. And made it a very, very low finish move for Mike. And so Mike Partington probably very wisely lifted and conceded the corner to Jon-Erik. The other thing about it, of course, Jon-Erik is the first of the prime shot cars, and only 11 seconds back, and only 5 seconds off the last of the option shot lead pack. So really, considering he started on primes and started outside the top 10, it's not a bad opening stint for Jon-Erik from Finland.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see who will be the first guy into the pit. I actually think I know it from the front runners, and it will be Sam Boulik-Bassi. I don't think it will be this lap, but definitely within 1 or 2 laps he will come into the pit. I mean, he would do wise. Oh, it's Mohammed Patel with a little bit of a twitchy moment there onto the last coming onto the main straight. But Martin Hodas is into the pits.
Yeah, that's an early stop.
Yeah,
but, Greco pitting us.
It's a nice strategy, I believe. Ooh, Hodas with a lot of wheel spin going out of the pit, has to correct it all the way, and going out on track on P9. And I do think that this early stop, he's now completely into fresh air. The track is well rubbered in, and he can, make some way up to the field. The other drivers in front of him, who he's effectively battling, are going to lose 1 or 2 seconds now, if Hodas applies his speed correctly. Because they're fighting amongst each other as well. I mean, Boulik-Bassi is still behind Patel, and also in a little bit of dirty air, so his racing is a little bit compromised. And it's the same for the rest. Briljak is on the inside of Jon-Erik Saxon, who locked up horribly in that chicane there. And it's now time for Peter to get closer and closer to Jon-Erik, but it's not as easy as it looks. He can go for a dive on the inside, but I think he is wiser than that. Indeed he is. He is playing the patience card, and he knows he's much faster than Jon-Erik here. He just needs the right momentum and the right timing in order to make the move stick. But he just put on his pit light, so it seems like he is going into the pit. So it's Carlos Martin, it seems.
Yes, probably at that stage of the operating window of the option tyres that Brillac is using, that really he hasn't got anything to throw at John Eric. John Eric's got the primes, which are going to be a bit more robust at this distance.
Yeah, Kostadinov in the pit, by the way.
Oh, there you go. Simoncic is certainly still showing good pace. He's running within 0.3 of a second of his best lap still. So he's managing his tyres very well.
Yeah, definitely, and a nice pit stop for Peter Brillac, rejoining the track in P12 at the moment, right behind Mike Partington. That would not be a nice situation for him to be stuck, but through the SS it's really hard to overtake. He's back to zero basically. He has to wait for others to complete their stints. Mohammed Patel has put his pit light on, and hopefully for Sam Boudic-Bassi he will join, but really outstanding from him that he's still continuing onwards. Journey Simoncic is having his pit light on as well. He's really driving easy. Look at that. Really a little bit short shifting along the way in Spoon and just...
Simoncic is pitting. He's pulling a pit stop from the lead. I can see in his cockpit he's got pit in.
Yeah, indeed. And David Greco alongside Alexei Kivala. David Greco on the outside in Spoon. That's a difficult move to stick, but look at the room he's given by Kivela, and it was really the determination of Greco that made the move stick there. Brilliant overtaking maneuver on the outside of Spoon. That's not something you see every day. And Sam Boudic-Bassi, after completing this lap, put his pit light on as well, and I think Jeroen Kwekel will do the same thing. Mohammed Patel though has sight on Journey, but hopefully for Sam, you know, I mean for Journey, you know, I mean Kwekel. Kwekel has to pit now, and you know he cannot allow to fall behind badly because Patel just pitted. He's on fresh rubber. He might be able to get a jump done on Kwekel.
Briac up into 9th now, and he's gone for the prime, so Briac is going long. But as you said, he's got Partington in front of him on options, which could really spoil his stint. Not that Mike is slow by any means. Mike's a quick guy, so perhaps he can drag Peter Briac with him. But there's nobody in front yet to pit that Briac's going to jump, I don't think. Patel's already out on fresh options, as is Simoncic. Simoncic has rejoined in P3.
Peter Brillac is putting the hammer on though. I mean, he might be on the harder compound. He's definitely pushing his lungs out. Kwekel is indeed going to the pit, so is Boudic-Bassi, but I'm really curious to see where he will fade out, or where they will fade out, considering Mohammed Patel is, you know, going through 130R about now.
Kwekel could probably be right amongst Patel and Hodas.
Yeah, I mean, Patel's going to jump him.
Kwekel's just stopped in his pit march. Patel is coming down pit lane.
And there goes Patel. Will he overtake Kwekel? No, he won't. Kwekel is just barely getting in front and out of him, but perfect timing from Go Speed there. Journey Simoncic, being the leader of the race, was allowed in first, and that's a logical decision, but it's really nice to see for Kwekel that he came out in front of Patel. And Hodas made some jumps as well. He jumped Sam Boudic-Bassi with that earlier pit stop, and that extra 2 laps he has now found himself attached to the train of Patel and Kwekel, where 5 laps ago he was still in P5 or 6. So good job from Hodas. Tactical view is always, of having a nice straight tactical view is always a nice thing to have.
Now the issue Patel's got is that Kwekel, who as you said so beautifully managed to exit and hold station into turn 1, which is a pretty brave turn entry on cold primes, I must say. But the problem Patel's got is that Kwekel is on the hard tyre, is on the prime, so...
Yeah, well, that's not going to be a problem for Patel. It's going to be an opportunity for him, rather than a problem. This is obviously a tactical decision from Go Speed to allow Simoncic some more time into the lead. Unintentionally, Kwekel is going to hold up Patel a little bit lap by lap, because of that tire difference, and it's brilliant strategy in my opinion from Ghost Speed. Mohammed Patel really has to make it work. Jeroen is going early defensive, and insane to see. The DRS and the draft are just simply not enough, and Jeroen makes his defensive maneuver, if you can call it like that. Well, he makes it stick, but yeah, really awkward move there.
Well, it looks like Patel's a long enough 7th gear to go for the DRS pass, because I do remember a couple of races where Patel's 7th gear has been set really for the optimum lap time rather than for the DRS passes. It looks like he's got some headroom in 7th, so if he does get a nice exit off the Casio triangle, the final chicane and final turn onto the pit straight, that Patel is going to have a chance to have a shot at Quakel, but Quakel doesn't make many mistakes.
Quakel knows that he will be on the preferable tire in about 7 or 8 laps due to the degradation. That is obviously a little bit faster. Not only because of the way that Mohammed Patel is driving, he's pushing really hard considering compared to Quakel, but also because he is just because the tire is softer and is just degrading faster. But the input Mohammed Patel is putting into it it's really a lot as well. And there is really nothing that Patel can do except for, to hope for a mistake, because straight line speed, he cannot get the move done, it seems.
Here we go, maximum attack up through the chicane that time and got a little bit of air over the curve, but he's close enough for DRS, but not really close enough to pull off a DRS path. And the thing, of course, is with his soft tyres, as he goes through these S-curves and really works the tyres, at this distance from Quakel, he's really putting a lot more heat into his front tyres because of the lack of downforce in the dirty air, and it's costing him more tyre wear.
Yeah, definitely, and well, it's a decision he makes. I mean, he can, allow himself to, stay behind him, but that's basically signing for a different position than P1. He wants to get the move done ASAP because he knows every lap that it takes now to overtake Quakel, if he's going to overtake him, is going to cost him time compared to the leader of this race journey, SimRacing. So it's really frustrating for Patel at the moment, since he doesn't have any, he isn't seeing any possibility to get past this young Dutch guy. But anything can happen. But I don't think that the Quakel will go into the pit earlier than Patel, being on the hard compound though.
Oh no, absolutely not. He's definitely got, well, he's got to really exploit an extra 2, 3, 4 laps out of that prime tyre to make it worth his while. What, of course, Patel can do is choose his moment and undercut Quakel. And we've seen Patel do that brilliantly before. And undercut is when he does a fantastic in-lap, dives into the pits, gets some fresh tyres, and he's out. But it's
not going to work. Because, look, if Patel is going to pit in 10 laps, then, for example, Jeroen Quakel will definitely in clean air and with harder compound tires and with an easier pace, he's not really pushing that hard as Patel is, then he's not going to pit right after Patel has pitted as well, since he can go longer on this set of tires. So what he is gonna do then is drive on 5 or 6 laps longer. And who has spun? Partington has spun into turn 1, it seems. Here he goes into turn 1 and losing the car onto the second apex, and that is a big pile of smoke right there. He had to wait for Jon-Erik Saxon to pass. Made a little bit of a risky move there with Carlos Martin, who will not be happy with that, but like we say in Holland, boontje komt onze loontje. That's what you get. But he didn't make any contact whatsoever. He can just go on, and hopefully Partington can still come back after this incident. Oh, he's doing a little bit of a Kwiat there, going onto the grass at the same place where Kwiat crashed in real life.
Well, Briac is up into 8th place now, our World Drivers' Championship leader, but he's just had a very scrappy exit from the hairpin, which I guess just shows that he's really pushing hard.
And Mohammed Patel really closing up towards Jeroen Quakel now, and this is closer than he has been on earlier occasions. But can he get alongside? I mean, it's just not possible for him. there's not even a possibility for him diving here. It must be insanely frustrating. I mean, the dirty air here, like I've said in every Suzuka stream here, cannot be underestimated, and it's definitely something to hold Mohammed Patel off his right pedal, and it's clearly showing as well. He's taking a much easier line through the S's, and it does mean that Journey Simulations wins another 3/10 through the S's alone. Great tactical player from GoSpeed.
It is indeed. He's got a rear gunner. Simicic has got a rear gunner there, hasn't he?
Yes, indeed. But Patel is still applying every pressure that he can in order to make life miserable for Jeroen. And he basically has to in order to keep his championship aspirations alive. Sad news for Mohammed though. I mean, with 75 points still to be divided, I don't think he can make up for like 62 of them. But nevertheless, you want to drive for the win. These drivers realize that, and they're giving it everything they got. Mohammed Patel might go for it here. He will just give Jeroen Kwekel a decision, turn in and hit me, or no, there is just no room. But I think if he was a little bit closer, he would certainly think about it. If he is close enough and get the exit he wants, he's definitely close now.
Down this time.
Maybe he can get alongside. Jeroen Kwekel is still defending the inside line. It's just a little bit of pressure that Mohammed Patel is giving Kwekel. And here, look at the driving Kwekel is performing.
So close.
I mean, Simicic is already out of the screen. He made up 7/10. He extended his lead by 7/10 over the course of the last lap, all because of the battling that's going on behind him. And I tell you what, David, I mean, and the viewers at home, Mohammed Patel is gonna ruin his tires in like 7 or 8 laps on this pace, you know. And Kwekel not really having any issues with his hard compound tire. They can pack a punch, or they can take a punch.
And Patel pitted for fresh options around about lap 11.
What was that?
Did I hear a car brake?
Yeah, indeed. That's what I heard as well. It's Alexi Kivala, it seems. Alexi Kivala into turn 1. Let's see what happened there. And he just didn't make the corner, and then the road just stops, and instantly his rear wing just disintegrates. No people driving without a rear wing here in WC, unlike the 3 retards we have seen in Pro earlier today.
Yeah, I was behind one of them for for about one corner.
Yeah, you were like, oh my god, what is this retard doing in the middle of the track?
Exactly, I was just thinking, I hope noticed this. I hope he's noticed this.
Yeah, well, hopefully that will be something to look at in later in the last 2 Grand Prix of this season. But for now, I mean, it's WC, it's clean driving all the way, and that's something we have seen and we are used to
unless
seeing.
your initials are C. Unless your initials are CM and you drive for Netrex, that is. But that's another story for another day. So I was alluding earlier to Patel's options. He put them on at lap 11, so he's really got to run them till about lap 22 to make this stint work for him. So he's got 3.5 more laps to go before he can consider stopping. And my money says he will jump onto fresh options again and use the overspeed to come out in front of Kwekel. So I'll give you a little, I'll bet you €1 on that, Chris. Do you use euros where you live?
Oh, I am a very poor. I'm a very poor guy. I cannot spend €1.
Oh no, I'll send you a potato.
A potato, that's worth. No, it's interesting to see what's going to happen in that aspect. We'll keep that in mind. At the moment, what Mohammed what Mohammed has in mind is how do I get this get past this bloody freaking GoSpeed car? I mean, Jeroen Kwekel showing that he is WC material all the way down to the bank, and hopefully he can keep it together, because having Kwekel on the podium here would definitely bring a smile to my face. Here, look at this defending. Mohammed Patel's like fuck you, dude. I'm not gonna follow you anymore.
Hard,
just
right?
drive on, bother on, and bother along.
Yes, but Kwekel's got to watch himself, because that was 2 moves. He moved right.
Come on.
He moved right to cover the inside. And then moved left again to take the racing line, and that's 2 moves. That's what
okay,
that's what
okay.
Brzezinski got penalised for in Singapore.
That's what bureaucratic people say, indeed. But
and if he wasn't
Mohammed
touched,
Patel
Chris,
wasn't even close to him. There
and
were
if
still
Qua-
2
and if-
car
and
lengths.
if-
There
and
was
if-
no way he was going to dive
and
into
if Quakel wasn't Dutch, he'd be spitting chips at him.
Nah, but 2 moves, I don't agree with you there. I mean, come on.
Anyways,
come on,
we don't have
seriously.
to worry. There's highly informed
He's going on for it now. I mean,
race
he's
directors that can
He's
decide
looking
that.
really racy at this moment. No, but it's all okay, David. But he really looked close in the chicane there, and in the hairpin, and he's really trying every inch of the way. But yeah, he's just here. His tire wear, he's dropping a little bit behind here. Look at the speed he's carrying through here. He's losing so much momentum.
Yeah, well, they'd be past their best with those tyres. So he's got 8 laps on those medium tyres, and he's basically been in Quakel's dirty air for all of them. So whatever they had to offer him, it's gone now, and all he's going to do now is hold position until he laps. And I would say he'll be lapping 2 more trips around, and we'll see Patel hit the pit lane and try to do a nice strong in lap and a nice strong out lap. Now Hodas pitting for his second stop at lap 20.
Yeah, and he stopped earlier on as well. Maybe he tries to do a double undercut, I don't know. But he's definitely looking sharp for a nice result here. Making his second pit stop in lap 20. And he is going on what tire? He is going on the medium compound tire, but he is getting behind Carlos Martin. He's going back on track behind Carlos, who I think has a little bit of car damage because of that hit that he got from Sadly in the chicane. But then he obviously returned the favor on the straight. I mean, that's definitely gonna have a tail there.
Hodas hasn't used the prime yet. He's run 2 option stints.
That's all okay. He is trying to get a lot of get as much positions as he possibly can in those early stints of the race, and hopefully maybe that's what he's thinking. Hopefully I can defend with primes later on in the stint, you know. So yeah, because like Mohammed Patel and Quakel, Patel's on the medium compound. He has caught up to him since the beginning of his stint, you know, and that's why it was so crucial that Jeroen Quakel barely, but eventually came out of the pit in front of Patel. You know?
Indeed. And
half a second later, and Patel would be 2 seconds behind Journey Simonsic now, but that's not the case. Mohammed Patel's into the pit. I am still watching Hodas here fight with Carlos Martin, because shit is going down, I think, in a few minutes time. Mohammed Patel instantly decides it has been enough indeed, and he's going on to the prime. Now what you said is that Jeroen Quakel will be undercutted now. I think that Jeroen Quakel is gonna kick it up a notch, and he's gonna pit in lap 27 or 28. Maybe he will be, you know, behind Patel, but he will have fresh rubber and fresh medium compound runner rubber when the prime compound tires of Patel are already 5 laps old. And that's the difference.
Indeed, and I think Patel's best chance for an undercut was really,
Hodas made a move though. Sorry. Hodas did make a move on the back straight of Carlos Martin, did not defend it there. Hodas was just simply along the inside and made the move stick. So he is going further and further, but he finds himself now back behind Mohammed Patel. But he's on the prime compound, like we said earlier, and Hodas is on the faster medium compound. But you know, as we've seen with Patel, it's also degrading really hard if you over push it. I believe Patel did like 8 laps on that set of medium. 8 or 9 laps behind.
I think it was 10. It was 10.
10 laps.
Yeah,
well,
yeah. He stopped at 11 and. Oh no, you might be right. Might be 9. Pardon me.
No, but that's all to do with the brilliant driving of Quakel. Quakel is following though, so what you said is correct. I mean, it would be. I think this is really obnoxious. I didn't expect to see that.
Yeah, he's trying to cover.
Patel obviously, and he is coming out in front of him again. But Patel now being on the slower tire, and Quakel being on the medium compound tire, the faster one.
Yes, ironically, it's less of an issue for Vettel now because Quakel won't be slowing him on the slower tyre. Now Briac, by the way, is now up to third.
Quakel, sorry, but Quakel almost, if you can see that on the replay, goes off the track. No exaggeration there. Last turn of the S's, he went completely wide. And even used the extra little bit of road to stay on the track.
Wow. Now Briac was caught in a little train there behind Kostadinov and Greco, two very good and very quick drivers, but Briac, of course, has really got to do his utmost to get up to the pointy end of this race as soon as he possibly can. Briac is on time. He took them on lap at the end of lap 10. So potentially could run as long as lap 24 before he trades these in. And it'll just depend a little bit on his pace that he's got left in them.
Well, the leader of this race is into the pit, so is Sam Boudic-Bassi. And it's not Peter Briac who will lead it, because indeed he's going in.
Yeah, once again,
so Jeremy Simoncic remains the leader of this race. Almost goes horribly wrong with the pit entry of Sam Boudic-Bassi, but everything is sorted in the end. Boudic-Bassi rejoining the track, but Hodas is jumping him as well. So Hodas made a really nice move here by jumping Boudic-Bassi yet again. And hopefully for Hodas it results in a podium spot. He's definitely a contender for it. He has no problems in following Patel at the moment.
Yes, well, he's running at a very good pace. Briac hits in 7th, P7, and that's he's moving forwards because last time he exited the pits, he was in about 6th, I think. So Briac is moving forwards up through the field.
That's good to hear for him, obviously. Carlos Martin went to the pit as well, I believe.
Patel has just set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:30.8, so Patel is absolutely on fire now.
Yeah, he's livid. Obviously, after that encounter with the back of Quakel, who did not make way. Quakel was like freaking Gandalf saying, "You shall not pass today, mate." With a British accent, of course. British accent Gandalf, that would be awesome. No, but anyway, it's a proper fight, bare knuckle between these guys, and that's what we want to see, obviously. Really nice as well.
So at lap 23, Briac is only 14 seconds from the leader, having served a drive-through penalty from a jump start. At the very beginning of the race, obviously enough, is where we do have the start. But he's held it together, driven hard, made some clever choices, and he's now in a situation where he's got a little bit of clear air in front of him and the ability to push hard on his options, but then he's going to come up against Kostadinov, who's also on options. Boudic-Bassi has made a mistake.
Boudic-Bassi is going really wide.
Yep.
And he is having an issue. What happened to Boudic-Bassi? Oh, he crashed. Oh my holy mother of God. I mean, he just went completely sideways onto the S's, touching the grass there, and he pays a heavy price for it. That's definitely a broken suspension there, crooked steering wheel, and a broken front wing that needs replacement, urgent replacement. And fortunately the rest of the pack had insight into the situation there. Unfortunate though for Sam, he didn't keep it together in Singapore. He has raw speed and raw talent, but the consistency is lacking a little bit. I know all about it. Talk to me, Sam. Talk to me, man.
He's a quick driver. I mean, Sam did win, he won the Ace race in Singapore, of course, so he's quick. With his Michihoya in P2, but yeah, he's steering all over the place. Yep, he's going to drop back now. So that's one less guy that Peter Briac has got to find his way through.
Yeah, definitely, and well, Carlos Martin now really close up to the back of Jon-Erik Saxon.
Quakel has just set fastest lap of the race.
Indeed he is.
And we're talking about all these tools and all these tactics, but look, hats off to Simoncic, Ernest Simoncic, superb drive, really, to be leading this race. He hasn't put a foot wrong. He's running his prime stint at the moment. He's in clear air.
Yes. And Sam is rejoining the track, and I am curious to see how well he will fare, since that was a big shunt he had into the barriers there. Yeah, the car is looking horribly off balance, and you know, finishing would be something already for him. Yeah, he's really twitching. Ooh, this is really sad to see. Unfortunate, but a mistake that could have been avoided by, you know, not messing up, and that's 10 times more easily said than done, definitely around this track, but it's the harsh truth. If we can go on board with Carlos Martin, who almost runs wide into the second part of Spoon, is finding himself a nice exit, and it's really what he needs. What he needs now is a nice tow up towards Jon-Erik Saxon, get closer to him during the braking, and look at him go. He's really, he can maybe get a move in right here. He will not do that. He will wait patiently for the DRS moment. He needs a great exit right now, and he is getting it from himself. And he has a shot here, I think. Opens up the DRS. The top speed of the Netrax seems superior toward, in comparison to the Vetchronic racing car, and along the outside, almost touching together, but they give each other just enough space to get around it. And great driving from the both of them.
Fantastic driving. Great bends again from Jon-Erik.
Yeah.
His trademark. I'm going to park it on the apex. You go around the outside if you want to, fella. It's all there for you.
Yeah, and both live to fight another day, fortunately. And, well, at the moment, I mean, he's driving a little bit of an invisible race, but Danny van der Niet in P11 trying to get another point into the back with P10, but he needs a little bit of luck for that.
Yes, well, a points finish in the World Championship here at FSR is something that everybody covets if they haven't had one before, and a real achievement in this depth of field. I think we were talking at Silverstone, and the thing about
for the top drivers, they don't want to have a point. You know,
well.
That's the thing. Once you have a fast car and the talent and the results, then you know you only want more, and you can only sit back after you've won every race or whatever, like Bono did in 2011, except for Great Britain there, where you started last and still ended up almost winning from starting back of the grid. But yeah, it was there's always in the duration of a season things that go wrong. We see it with Peter Briljak here. Even the best make mistakes, and a jump start is not something we see every day. Definitely not for these drivers. What happened there? Jon-Erik Saxon collided with Carlos Martin onto the straight. Jon-Erik Saxon driving on the straight with Carlos Martin behind him. Carlos going on the inside. Carlos, please. I have no words for this. I have absolutely no words for this. Carlos Martin just goes onto the grass. I mean, the road just stopped there. I mean, what did he expect? And he just destroys the car of Jon-Erik Saxon. And that's just insane.
Unbelievable. So now we're down to 11 drivers, and Sam Bulabatsi with his damaged car, the way it's going, could end up in the points.
Yes, indeed, and same for Danny van der Niet, obviously, Norbert Leitner as well. But what an action we are seeing here. This is definitely not a good weekend for Carlos Martin. He had the earlier incident with Thomas Satterley, where he pushed him off the track on the same matter, and now he just decides to go onto the pit exit line, where the grass appears, and he basically expected Jon-Erik Saxon to make way or something, but he went onto the grass and collected Jon-Erik Saxon completely. There was nothing Jon-Erik could have done there. He was just a passenger once Carlos went onto the grass. It's insane.
I guess Carlos saw Jon-Erik's fence the last time round and figured whatever he's got to do, he needs to be on the inside. But you do have to, you've got to use the tarmac, haven't you?
Yeah, but yeah, you do. Well, good point. You have to use the tarmac instead of the grass. But no, seriously, I think Carlos is a great guy and a really fast driver as well. But he has to control his aggression at that moment. This is so much over aggression he's showing. You know, it's just out of boundaries what we can expect from drivers here. That's not something you would see a real racing driver do at any stage ever in their career. And it's really unfortunate because you know, we have seen such great things from Carlos in the past. We all know he can do it, but this is just outrageous, and I think he can expect a severe impeding on his penalty point license. Ooh, and I hear another crash following. Hopefully I'm wrong.
In the meantime, Simoncic and Quakel are more or less flying in formation here. Simoncic holding first place on the prime tyre, Quakel holding second place, just 0.8 of a second behind on the option tyre. And then to third place, Mohammed Patel, British driver, lying second in the World Drivers' Championship. Third place, 4 seconds the rear. So he's dropped back off Quakel a bit, courtesy of the fact that he's on the prime and Quakel on the options.
Oh, Kostadinov is off the track, it seems. I am going to see the replay now. He's going through the S's, and what is happening with him? He just lost the car, it seems. No, he touched the grass. He touched the grass and almost collects Peter Biljak along the way, but he did not collect the barriers though. He did not touch any barrier, so he is unscathed with a little bit of a broken ego, time loss, and maybe a flat spot here and there, but could be worse there. But pure drive mistake.
Well, may I say it, this is almost biblical in the way that the waters are parting to allow Peter Briak through, because Peter Briak had to overcome Bulabassi. Bulabassi went off. He then had to overcome Kostadinov. Kostadinov went off. And Peter Briak is now up in 5th place and only 14 seconds behind the leader. But running out of laps, we approach the end of lap 30. Only 23 laps left to
who's
run.
that? Norbert Leitner is off the track. Also not hitting the barriers, but doing a mild version of Marcus Ericsson there. Looking onto the replay, he's approaching the spoon curve. He's going onto the curve with 2 wheels and maybe a little bit of his bottom end plate. And he is just, you know, a goner. You know, but also no damage there. Also broken ego and a little bit of time loss. But, you know, it's a little bit of a concentration issue, it seems, among some drivers. That are just, you know, a little bit fading away.
Yeah, and the tyre wear creeps in, and the way the tyre's hooked at the entry of spoon just kind of changes as the tyres go off. You're just waiting for those fronts to grip, and as the tyres go away from you, they just grip as they should. And if you haven't allowed for that on the entry, it's such a high-speed entry into spoon. You're so committed on the first part of spoon that you can't really correct anything on the second part of spoon if the grip isn't there that you're anticipating.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about entries here, and if you mess up the entry here, you are just gonna get wide. And you know, like we said, there's no runoff area except for 130R. And you know, that's the beauty of Suzuka as well. Make a mistake and you're gone. It's who will get that, who will take that extra little bit of risk in order to take that extra little bit of gain on time. You know, because the consequences are horrible.
Now Hodas, we're talking about Hodas Ball. He's in 4th place, and he's about 4 seconds back from Patel, driving brilliantly. I'm just looking, he and Patel are lapping, last time round they were within 4,000th of a second of each other's lap time. But Patel is on the prime and Hodas on the option. So I think when Patel switches back to options, he's going to pull away. So I think best thing Hodas can hope for is probably to hold that 4th place. He's got Briak 6 seconds behind him, and even the brilliant Peter Briak may not be able to bridge that gap in the remaining 22 laps.
Yeah, definitely. And well, as we are entering the later stages of the race, we are in lap 32 out of 53, so 21 to go. And well, hopefully we haven't seen the best of it yet. we have seen a lot of crashes and a little bit of carnage caused by Carlos, but you know, part of the action. Unfortunately, it is Carlos causing it. But nevertheless, that's something for the race directors to decide in terms of punishment. Simoncic and Quaco are just, you know, driving in a league of their own. Basically, it's only 4 seconds between Quaco and Mohammed Patel, so they cannot slack off any minute. But you know, 4 seconds is a light year in racing terms, and if they can keep it controlled and wise, I'm sure they will have a good chance of finishing 1-2 here. There's no way Patel can do an undercut here.
And you wouldn't deny it, really, to the Go Speed guys. They've showed such potential. If you remember what they were doing in Austria, definitely, for example, and Johnny Simon was on pole in Germany, but they haven't really managed to convert it into the win. So to take a first and a second would really be a just reward for the mega amount of work these boys are putting in.
Yeah, well said, and it's a reward after hard work, and that's what we like to see. And you know, we want to see winners like that, not being given away anything. At the moment, though, Sam Bassi is still driving in P10 with a, well, I think a heavily damaged car. His steering wheel is a little bit crooked, but it could be worse. He at least finds a good rhythm to stay, to settle in himself, and well, maybe there is more to come along the way. But P9, Danny van der Niet, is the only driver he is, well, seeing at the moment. In front of that, there's a 19-second gap between P8 guy Mike Partington. Dion Kostadinov, though, he is driving in P7, but as we have seen 3 laps ago, he is not immune to mistakes as well. I mean, that definitely, you know, cost him a little bit more than only tire wear, a little bit confidence as well. And that's really something you need all race long. Confidence in this track, confidence in yourself, confidence in the car and the braking. Martin Hodas is, yes, he is going into the pits right now, trying to make some sort of an undercut work, at least getting closer to Mohammed Patel. We have seen him doing this all race long, and he might go onto the hard tires. He is actually going to the hard tires, and he's going to try to finish this race.
Yeah, he's 20 laps from home, which is really, really at the outside edges of that tire's endurance.
I admire the decision, though. Go Martin Hodas.
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, well, if he would get a podium, it would be well deserved here.
Yeah, it'd be good to see him get it. Nice thing about this track is that it works the tyres so hard that by the time you are where he is now, which is not curved, you've got a pretty good amount of heat in the tyre and a fair amount of grip. So it's not like Singapore, where it really took a couple of laps to get the harder tyre working.
Yeah, indeed, and well, 20 laps to go. It's doable. It's going to be a rough challenge for Hodas. He cannot afford any lockups or flat spots, but there you go. He is in P6 at the moment. Nothing to lose. He has Dion behind him. He already made his pit stop, so you know, he will definitely get a top 5 position if he keeps it together at least.
Yeah, well, Greco's got a pit again. His tyres are about 7 laps old. So Greco will pit for options, which will see him exit behind Hodas, but on a quicker tyre. And it'll just depend if Hodas are together for 20 laps on the prime. We might see in the closing 3-4 laps, we could see a pretty good fight between Greco and Hodas, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Nicely said indeed. And it's nice to see David Greco being amongst the frontline runners as well. Definitely a guy I would miss in Formula Sim racing if he weren't here. And I'm sure a lot of people think the same about that subject. Let's see, Dion Kostadinov has found himself into the pit as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going too hard. Yes, he is. So he's trying to finish the race on that set of tires. So Hodas not being the only guy to think of that. I just heard a car brake. It's Danny van der Niet trying to go into the pit. And he gets collected by, it seems, Sam Bassi. Danny was in front in... Oh, that's a little bit cheeky from Bassi indeed. And after that, Danny was trying to go into the pit. A little bit of over-aggression there from Bassi's side. He should have been a little bit more patient, because on the outside of that chicane, I mean, come on. You know, that gap would always disappear there. and then it's just unfortunate that they collide. No way of knowing that Danny would have pitted there. But yeah, Boulegbassi losing another wing and plate. Hopefully for Danny van der Niet, he didn't sustain any damage at all. But we just have to wait and see.
Well, Boulebassy's team, I hope they brought enough spare parts with them for the weekend.
Well, but that was just a little bit too much, if you ask me.
So Briac is now P4, Patel P3.
Yeah, Briac doing it again, and with this in mind, he will obviously be the world champion of Formula Sim Racing with 2 races to spare. And obviously people will say, remember in China where Mohammed Patel was 1 lap shy of the victory there. His maiden victory in Formula Sim Racing World Championship, but he got robbed by it because of a shitty Renault engine exploding. Yeah. So no, but yeah, that was really unfortunate, scoring a 0 there. Imagine him with another 25 points into the bag and 7 less for Peter Briac, who was P2, but obviously had the win handed to him. Would completely turn things around in some aspects at least. And well, this race is not over yet as well. We've seen, well, familiar names making stupid mistakes basically, and you know, Briac is not immune for that. But maybe he already made his mistake of the day or for the weekend by jumping the start, which is a rare thing to see indeed.
I think Briac's going to need to pit within a lap or 2. His tyres are 10 or 11 laps old.
Yeah, what is Hodas going to do? That's the question.
Yeah.
I mean, Hodas, he cannot afford himself a lot of over-aggression, but he will definitely go on to P4. There is just 18 seconds between Patel and himself, so I don't know, it would be an intense battle there. But I do think that, I mean, the pit stop here is like 16 seconds, 17?
Or 18, I think, 18, 19.
Gonna be exciting there,
yeah.
But obviously Patel will have the tire advantage in terms of freshness. But yeah, Patel still has to go to the pit once more. So,
yeah, Patel's pace is eroding a bit now. He's gone from mid 133s up to mid 134s now. He needs to get off these tyres, but what he's probably doing, what he's definitely going to be doing, is waiting for his options window to open. He doesn't want to grab the options and have to do too many laps, and at the moment it's 16 laps, which is just probably a lap or 2 too far. Maybe 1 more lap and he can dive in and take some options and run to the end.
Yeah, definitely, and well, we just have to wait and see. At the moment it's Hodas fighting alongside David Greco, or almost alongside. He's still behind the Italian, but trying to park his car into Spoon. He realizes that he cannot lose a lot of time here, and I think that Greco knows what's going on with Patel and Hodas, so he will not make life hard, but he will not make life easy for Hodas, but you know, maybe he doesn't have a choice because his Hodas is so much faster. He's alongside and he's outbraking Greco here onto the chicane. Indeed, a brilliant move there, and that was all that Greco could do. Did save him, save his teammate Patel a second. I mean, I know Greco is driving for the Avid Chronic Racing team, but he's a man of twister racing inside of his heart. So.
And the beautiful thing about what Hodas has just done is because he executed the pass and the chicane, he got DRS from the DRS detection line, did the pass and still had DRS, so it's nothing more disheartening to see the pass executed before the DRS zone, and then your car that you're chasing just very cheekily opens up the DRS flap as if to say, thanks for coming, I'm off.
Indeed, and Sam Boulegbassi is going into the pit for his final pit stop of the day. Let's see how long it will take him. At least Danny van der Niet is taking his position rightfully back. That was his in the first place, but he still has to fight for it since there are 16 laps to go in this race, 17 actually.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
So let's see if Mohammed Patel will pit. Indeed he will. So here it goes. Here it comes. Will Martin Hodas jump Mohammed Patel? I think it will be close. I mean, the difference between them is 17 seconds. 16 seconds actually. Wow, this is going to be close, with Quakel in the pit as well. But no worries there, the leaders of this race are not contesting. Briljak is into the pit, Hodas is through the chicane right now. Patel is going out of the pit right now. Hodas is going to do it. He is going to jump Patel here. But for how long is the question? Because Patel has fresh tires now and fresh medium compound tires. This is gonna be an interesting battle. What are your thoughts about this, David? David is on to a 2-minute break. Well, no worries there. Patel is eager to rubber in his medium compound tires, and not surprisingly, he will try hard to get alongside Hodas and make the move stick. He just needs a little bit of extra top speed in order to do that, because like we've seen earlier with him and Quakel, Mohammed didn't make the pass there because of excellent defending and excellent top speed by the Go Speed driver. But here it's a little bit different. Hodas has to manage a total of 20 laps on this hard compound set of tires, and you know they are relatively fresh right now. We only see him do 5 of those 20 laps, but still he cannot afford anything, and Mohammed Patel is already inside of the rear view mirrors.
Simičić pitting from P1. It's going to be close on pit exit, actually.
Yeah. Simičić
exiting the track. No, he's done it well. He's rejoined beautifully in clear air ahead of Hodas.
It's interesting to see Simičić this close again, though.
Indeed. Yeah, does Quakel need to pit again? Quakel's in P1. Goodness gracious, so Quakel has pitted last time round and he has undercut Simičić. Quakel in the lead.
Oh wow, so he's effectively in the lead, so then. Yeah, he already made his pit stop, so Quakel took the lead of the race, whilst I was apparently sleeping as well. This Quakel guy, like a ninja, you know, just taking the lead like whoosh. Oh my god, but what a nice re-entry in the WC would that be for Jeroen Quakel. He's now 2.5 seconds shy of Jordi Simičić. Mohammed Patel is chasing Martin Hodas, who is contending for the last podium spot. What an interesting race, David.
Oh, amazing. To be closing up now as we go to nearly complete lap 40 of 53. We've got second, third and fourth places separated by 1.5 seconds. And Patel's
Here
comes
go Patel, he is alongside and he is already doing it. So the strategy of Hodas, indeed, it was a beautiful move indeed. The strategy of Hodas did not work in his favor, but definitely +1 for trying. He already made up a lot of places. He started, I believe, P7 or something like that. The P4 would already be huge, and he didn't defend it with his life hanging on of it, because he realized I still need to make the stint work. I cannot allow any kind of battling, otherwise my tires are just gonna get blown up. Yeah, like Valtteri Bottas in Singapore 2014. You know, where he lost 6 seconds in the last lap, or 8 seconds, or something like that. Yeah. Because he was just driving on canvas. So.
Or Raikkonen in China the year before. But indeed,
Raikkonen, yeah, but Raikkonen is the most overrated driver ever.
I didn't do that deliberately, getting you started on Raikkonen. But Hodas, I think you're absolutely perfectly correct there, Chris. I think Hodas is looking at the timing screens and knowing that he's got Briak 4 seconds rear. Yeah. And if he wasted too much time fighting Patel on fresh options, that he was A, going to lose the battle, and B, just allow Briak to get close. So essentially what Hodas needed to do is exactly what he did. Let Patel go and concentrate on putting in good clean laps. But you know what? I think Briak will catch Hodas, and I think they'll be battling over the last 2-3 laps, because Briak's in clear air. He's on options as well. Briak took his tyres 1 lap ago, and so I think it's game on. It's game on for 4th place. These guys will be fighting.
Yeah, unfortunately they are not fighting for a podium, but You know, we had that fight with Mohamed Patel. Not really a fist fight there, but like you said earlier, great point. He cannot afford tire life in order to still defend a little bit from Peter Briljak. In the midfields, though, it's gonna get a little bit more exciting with Danny van der Niet becoming under pressure of feeling the pressure of Norbert Leitner, well, I think Norbert will try and move in 1 or 2 laps. Danny van der Niet didn't defend last time around. Has to manage 19 laps on medium compound tires. Now let's see with the DRS what Norbert Leitner can do.
He's got
The
DRS.
gap is a little bit big though. Does get him? No, there's no way he will be able to dive for him right there. Sam Bullock-Bassi though, with a fresh set of medium compound tires, also on the lookout for that last point available. So one of these 3 guys are going home with nothing.
So we've got 2 great fights really. We've got a great fight for 9th place and we've got a great fight for 4th place.
Yeah, but imagine if we have one more DNF, then, you know, everyone is going to be in the points of the finishers or non-finishers, whatever.
Indeed.
Gonna be epic. And remember, Sam Bullock-Bassi still has a damaged car with that earlier shunt onto the wall. And he will not have a car that's completely onto his liking, I'm sure. Back to the front of the runners, there's not really much going on at the moment. Peter Briljak closed the gap between him and Martin Hodas relatively quick.
Oh, indeed he has. But you know, the interesting thing, Briljak took those options on lap 39, so he's 3 laps into that stint. And it's really at the peak period of the performance of that tyre. And if Hodas can hold him off for sort of 3-4 more laps, those options will start to go away, and they'll start to go away
Look at the speed
quicker than Hodas's primes do. But,
yeah, but Peter Briljak is already moving alongside whilst you read a story. I mean, it's insane the way Peter Briljak brakes. I mean, so much confidence there, so much later than Martin Hodas, and this is just gonna be like stealing candy from a kid, basically. Peter Briljak is just gonna move alongside, and after the 130R, he's gonna park his car right alongside in the same fashion that his teammate Patel did. Here he goes.
Hodas needs to go right and own the apex.
He's already alongside and he's choosing the outside line. He gets enough space from Martin Hodas and he is a gunner. So Peter Briljak up to P4, and I don't think he will close the gap from with 5 seconds to spare with him and his teammate Patel. But that was a brilliant move from Briljak.
That was a stunning overtake, and it's no fluke that he's leading the World Drivers' Championship.
But if Jeroen Kwekel would win this race, I mean, that would be an outstanding performance from the young Dutch guy. I mean, doing something that GoSpeed didn't, had so much trouble in doing, and that's winning. I mean, the raw speed was there. There was just a little bit of luck needed, and apparently the right people. And Journey Simoncic and Jeroen Kwekel are really working together as a team. And it's really sad to see Jeroen Kwekel leave for next year towards Origin. But yeah, that's the way it sometimes goes.
Yes, and I bet Johnny Simon, wherever you are, Johnny, I bet you're wishing you were here with these guys, and perhaps the 3 of you might have filled the podium today the way it's
I think
unfolded.
He's sleeping right now, since it's like 5 AM in Australia.
Just looking at the pace, Briljak and Patel, they've pretty much got identical pace. Their fastest laps of the race are within a few hundredths of each other. So yeah, agree 100% with you. There's no way Briljak is going to close down a 6-second gap to Patel. Patel is just too quick for that to happen.
Yeah, and we still have to see what's going to happen in the remainder of this race. 9 laps remaining, and well, still a lot of action to come our way, I'm sure. Sam Bullock-Bassi has just made himself part of the Danny van der Niet mini train, who is leading, Leitner and Bullock-Bassi himself. But yeah, one of these guys have to go home without a point.
Which is a shame. which is a shame after fighting so hard. Particularly Sam Bull about I think it was about lap 10 he hurt his car, didn't he? So he's been soldiering on for so long, and these cars are not nice to drive once you've damaged the suspension.
Yeah, but like Danny van der Niet didn't make a mistake the entire race. He went on the black stuff, and he went on to he didn't went off the tarmac, and you know, in that term, I think he deserves P9 the most. But it's not a question of who deserves it the most. The only question is who's gonna get it at the checkered flag, and that will be a question answered in a matter of minutes. I think in 10-15 minutes we will see the finishing flag, and what a race it would be if Quaker would win indeed with a 1-2 for Go Speed. Definitely a dream scenario for those guys. David Greco is well driving a little bit of an invisible race this race, but definitely not unsuccessful. P6 for him, and doing what he's worth. And Martin Hoda is definitely a driver who made some waves earlier on in this race with, well, daring strategies, and pitting in lap 33 as well. He is 12 laps into his 20 lap stint, and he's doing an amazing job as well into conserving his tires. And you see the calmness with drivers like Martin. He's not over pushing his tires, he's not extremely battling Brilliak and Patel. He's, you know, just afraid to make another pit stop. And he's like, okay, P5 is the maximum result for me today, I'm gonna take that position home. You know, and you know, you can admire that as well. Because a P5, no, it's not a lucky P10. You have to really, you know, you don't get P5 with luck in the Formula Sim racing.
Chris, I've just been doing some maths. And
have you now?
Briac,
and what have you come up with your British ingenuity?
Briac came into this race with 205 points. He's in 4th place, that earns him 12 points, yeah?
It does.
So, I think my calculations earlier might have been a bit out of kilter, because if I do this correctly, 205 plus 12 means he will.
Well, nobody cares. He's going to be the champion anyway.
He's going to be the champion. As they stand at the moment, because Patel is only going to add 15 points to a tally of 144.
Yeah, but even if he would have with 1 point, he would still be champion. I mean, there's no way he's gonna do a Lewis Hamilton 2007 on this.
Well,
I mean,
as they stand at the end of this race, there's going to be 58 points separating Briac and Patel, with only 50 points left on the table. So
yeah, well, he will be champion either this weekend or the next weekend or the weekend after that. But you know, it's that's not in discussion at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got a very exciting race on at the moment, but where Mohammed Patel and where Peter Briac stand at the moment is going to decide the 2015 Formula Sim Racing World Drivers' Championship. And Briac, after a drive-through and after rejoining in 16th place, has driven himself up to 4th place, and it looks like he is going to take the World Drivers' Championship in 7 laps' time.
Well, definitely a maximum effort for him, though. I mean, from P16 to P4, that's not something many would have done.
No, and, incredible.
Yeah, definitely hats off for that. But then again, it's a championship drive. But you know, if he gets it, he will get it in the end. But you know, at Suzuka, it would be a nice place.
Well, kind of,
since it's historical and stuff.
Yeah, 11 world titles have been decided here. Now, very interesting, couple of very interesting points for our viewers. Briac started in Formula Sim Racing in 2011 with 5th place in the Pro Championship. In 2012 he was the Pro Champion. Now the top 3 in each division have to go up, so he went up to Ace in 2013. In 2013 he was the Ace Champion. Now for 2014,
I remember driving with him.
Oh, okay, fantastic. 2014, of course, saw the change to rFactor 2, which is a different sim. It's more technical, requires a bit more finesse. And Briac was 7th with 2 podiums. In fact, his 2 podiums, he stood on the podium with Bono House twice, become 7th in the championship. And in this season, he has an unbelievable run. Peter Briac's worst result was third, and that was in Australia. Other than that, he has had a worse result of second. He's had 4 wins, and the rest of the results have been P2, and he set fastest lap of the race in no fewer than 6 of the events. So Peter has been an outstanding driver all season. And you know what, Chris, for my money, last week in Singapore was one of his most incredible drives, because as we know, there was a first point of contact with Morgan Moran, who is a very famous name in sim racing, and the two of them shared the front row. The two of them went for the first turn, and they had a contact, and Peter Briac was back in about 6th place when the dust settled, and from there drove into 2nd place. And that was a champion drive, and today's been a champion drive as well, to go from P16 to P4 after a drive-through, after his inadvertent jump start, again shows the calibre of the driver. So amazing performance from a worthy champion, if that in fact occurs in 5 laps time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Well said indeed. And it's now a battle to the finish line. A battle for some, at least. I mean, there is still a minute train. With Danny van der Neat being the guy in front, leading the pack. I mean, he's P9, Norbert Leitner P10, and the last driver still driving, Sam Bullock-Bassi, with a little bit of a damaged car, is in P11. Order hasn't changed for the last couple of laps, and Sam Bullock-Bassi is spinning. Ooh, he has to postpone his battle for the last point, and he is gonna park his car and rage quit all over. He is calling it quits when, you know, he obviously was mad about his earlier mistake, and that was really unfortunate, because we know he has raw speed. But you know, after seeing the last final scoring point position being slipped out of your fingers, you know, you don't bother with with the remainder of this race. 5 laps, he will still be qualified, classified, but you know, in P11. That obviously does mean that everyone who is still driving are scoring points. It's just a matter of the dividing between those points. Holy crap, it's getting
them all up.
For me. Yeah, I'm getting a 404 syntax error in my brain. No, hopefully not. Yeah, Jeroen Kwekel with 1.5 seconds lead over Journey Simicic. 1.2 actually now. You know, the battle is not over, but these drivers are so steady in their driving styles that, you know, they're all driving to the maximum limit almost of the possibilities with this car. And you know, the main job now, I think, for Go Speed is just keep Mohammed Patel in P3. You know, that's the main thing. Get this 1-2 home. You know, that would be the best achievement for them.
Yes, and looking at the gap there, we've got the 3 of them within 1.8 of a second, and Patel is only 0.6 of a second behind Simicic. But as we saw earlier, with a driver of Kwekel's standard or Simicic's standard, it is just not easy to pass here, even with DRS, and they're on the same tyres. They're both on the option, so there's no clever opportunities there in terms of option versus prime. But Patel will keep trying and keep pushing, I'm sure.
And lap times 32.5, 32.3 and 32.4 in that order. So Simicic is getting 2 tenths closer to his teammate once more. But in terms of top speed, it is a different story. With the DRS, Mohammed Patel reaches 317 kilometers per hour. But Simicic without is doing 319.
Yeah. It's going to be very tricky. You need a mistake or a breakdown. I don't think we're going to see any of the engine-related dramas we saw in China, because we've got an ambient temperature now of 16 degrees in downtown Suzuka. It's been getting cooler as the race goes on, so even on radiator setting of 1, it's very hard to think that the engines are going to be overheated.
Indeed, and we have 2.5 laps to go. Until this race ends, and what a race it has been. Hopefully the race order is not changing anymore. I mean, personally I want Kwekel to win. It would be a fantastic job for Go Speed, but also for him personally getting his maiden victory on the board. And I'm sure if he wins, it will be the first of many. But there are, well, basically 2 laps to go. Norbert Leitner takes P9 for the time being into turn 1. They almost make contact! Ooh, Norbert, keep your head cool, bro. Keep your head cool. If you watch that on the replay, Norbert Leitner is going offensive. Danny van der Niet goes defensive rather late. Pushes Leitner outside of the track, which is the longer way around. They leave each other just enough space, and it's then a little bit of locking up on wheels that's almost causing too much contact actually, but they keep it together brilliantly.
At this stage, Peter Briak has secured the minor honours of fastest lap of the race with a 1:31.529.
That's a fast time.
In fact, you know, that is 1/100th of a second difference between the real world race lap record, which was held by Kimi Räikkönen from 2005.
Yeah, well, we are definitely up to par with the simulation. I don't know if it's a laser scan circuit though, but I mean, nevertheless, it's epic and brilliant. Mohammed Patel realizing that there is not much opportunity remaining in this race in order to get a better position here. Peter Briak will be champion if things stay like this. Yeah, it would be the end for of a great season for Briak, and it would make the remainder of the season, you know, the race in Coda and the season ender, season finale in Interlagos, really special to drive. And really without pressure as well.
I'm really looking forward to Interlagos. What a beautiful track that is.
So, do you guys realize that this is the first time since, I believe, 2010, this is going to be the last lap, that Bono Huis will not be reigning champion anymore?
Ah, there you go.
This is the first time in like 1500 days that Bono is not champion.
Incredible.
Oh.
But I tell you what, there is no doubt in my mind, as a struggling pro driver on the pro grid, that the standard at the pointy end of World Championship is as high or higher than it's ever been. Because, I mean, Morgan Morand arrived, did 2 events, and was 4th in one, I think, 6th in the other. And, you know, there are obviously
oh, wait, sorry, Mohammed Patel's really charging up the, back of Simon Seats and applying, well, more pressure than needed, basically. But yeah, not not you know, trying.
Not the fairy tale ending that we wanted.
Yeah, but he's not trying to be easy to the finish line. I mean, it's all or nothing for this guy. But well, all or nothing. Still got has himself a nice podium into the bag. But satisfied.
And a real strong grip on runner-up in the World Drivers' Championship from a season from Patel, which has certainly not been a shabby one at all.
Yeah.
He's beaten Briak on speed.
But here comes the race winner. It's the young Dutch guy, his maiden victory. Jeroen Kwekel wins the Formula World Championship, Formula SimRacing World Championship race in Suzuka. Holy moly, what a great victory, and also for Journey Simulations and the Go Speed team in general, 1-2 scoring here. I mean, they would be ecstatically happy here, and Peter Briak crosses the finish line, being the Formula SimRacing World Champion in 2015. What an honor it has been seeing him drive like this, and hopefully a name that we will, well, see more this upcoming the upcoming seasons. And well, definitely a brilliant race. Martin Hodas finishes in P5, David Greco in P6, Dion Konstantinov now in P7, Mike Partington crossing the start-finish line in P8 for Eventa SimRacing, who had a different perspective last time around when they won the race, almost with a 1-2 as well. And the racing onto the finish line, Norbert Leitner with Danny van der Niet going on to the last hairpin. Are you kidding me? Norbert Leitner trying everything in the book, but that is over-aggression there. And Norbert Leitner going onto the grass, lets Danny van der Niet go. And here he goes. Danny van der Niet takes home a 9th place. And that must feel like a victory for this young Dutch guy. Trust me, he will be really happy with that. Norbert Leitner finishing in P10 and 10 finishers today.
Well, what a race! We had some incredible action. Some of it a good type of action, others not so good. But some fantastic driving, some fantastic tactical battles. I mean, hats off to Jong for managing to get the upper hand against Simonjic there for the win. Great drive from Patel. Fantastic drive from Peter Briak after his drive through to end up in 4th.
Yeah, indeed, and look at the happiness that Journey Simmons is showing for Jeroen. That's really nice, and it must feel like a victory for Journey as well. I mean, this is a team effort. 1-2 is the best they can do, and indeed, like Mohammed Patel says, the champion is off the podium. Greg was joking around, still noob though. But
God bless
him. It's awesome, and look at the sportivity of these guys. It's really amazing, and it's such a high level of competition. I mean, 53 laps, and Martin Hodas, David Greco still within like 25 seconds. So that's basically a little bit less than half a second a lap, which is a huge gap. But it's still beyond. It's still within comprehension, and I think it will allow them to get closer maybe next race, and we will definitely see less accidents in the circuit of the Americas in 2 weeks' time. At least that's what I hope, because it's not often that we finish with 10 drivers. Last year, 2 years ago in Suzuka, we had the same issue with 9 drivers finishing, and Giuseppe Marconi, Mr. Maldives as I call him, getting his name onto the scoring list in the first time in 4 or 5 years as well. But having said that, it was a great afternoon. We have seen a remarkable incident with Carlos Martin, and I'm sure that the forum is gonna explode with movies and comments and driving lines and what should have been done and who should have gone where. But it's gonna be a tough day at the office for our race director here, deciding who will get what sort of punishment. But there will be punishments, I guarantee it. But for today there will also be celebrations, not only in the camp of Ghost Speed, but definitely in even more, I think, in the camp of Twister Racing, who are putting a crown on their work, and Peter Briak in particular, with claiming the title of being the world champion of Formula Sim Racing in the 16th edition of Formula Sim Racing, year 16. And it's an honor to put your name on that wall. He obviously will get a big ass trophy sent to his home after the season, because you do get a cup here, the first 3 drivers, and a nice sum of money indeed. So it has been an awesome day of racing in our little world of online sim racing, hasn't it?
Oh, fantastic! The time's just absolutely flown by. There was always some action on track, and of course, Twister, courtesy of Briak and Patel's dominance this season, Twister, Too Fast for You, have actually sealed up the constructor title as well. So they're taking home massive trophies, and I imagine they'll be partying hard in their virtual pit after the race.
Oh my God! I mean, like a party in Second Life or something. That would be awesome. Geek alert.
Brilliant, great stuff. Thank you very much for having me on board, Chris. Real pleasure working with you again, and thank you very much for our listeners for putting up with us.
I should be saying that to you. Thanks for having you on board. No, but same to you, man. And maybe Quakel has a little bit of a tough job to do next year, so you can join me in WC. I don't know. But thanks to Sam Jones for being our patient cameraman as well. Finally, he's back from his holidays, and we will see you in, I believe, 2 weeks' time, when we will challenge the circuit of the Americas, where we will have a big-ass redneck burger and some nice, fresh, good old racing with that awful looking first turn. But it's awesome to drive, actually, going up to that hill into the rip-off section of the S's of Suzuka, right?
Is it the S's of Suzuka, or is it Maggot's? I can never remember.
It's a Tilke rip-off. Tilke is just like, okay, here's Suzuka, here's Silverstone, here's Monza, Okay, let's take this corner of that. Let's take that straight. Oh, let's do one big turkey corner right there. Let's do another straight, a stupid chicane, and another straight like in Abu Dhabi. I mean, that guy, in 10 years we will only have Tilke circuits, I'm afraid. Also, there's a chance Monza will disappear off the calendar in 2016. But we obviously next year have the Grand Prix of Azerbaijan. Yeah? Azerbaijan, that's the country we want to visit.
Rich history of Formula One, Azerbaijan, of course.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about Formula One, you instantly think about Azerbaijan.
Indeed, and their driver development program. Now, next race, of course, is the home track of our president, Chris Cobb. So he'll be cooking the burgers in the pit garage at Avid Chronic.
Oh yeah,
and everyone's going to be welcome.
Please give us a burger, indeed, Mr. President. There, no, but
burgers
like Jeremy
for everyone.
Free burgers are for everyone. He is saying nice that he's here as well. But yeah, on that bombshell, Jeremy Clarkson would say, we all thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. We have a new world champion. We have a new race winner. We have very happy people. Except I just opened my Facebook and I see a not so happy Spaniard person named Carlos Martin in the chat. But apart from that, it has been a fantastic day, and we urge you all to tune in 2 weeks' time, and obviously to buy a Thrustmaster wheel. So thanks again for the third time for watching, and see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a great evening. Bye bye.